Hello everyone, magandang araw sa ating lahat. So for today, what we will be discussing is to define culture and as well as politics. So di na natin masyado patatagalin ano, pero ang mahalaga nating makita dito ay kung ano-ano yung mga iba't ibang definitions of culture and as well as politics. And para mas makita natin kung paano yung iba't ibang mga thinkers and philosophers and as well as academicians kung paano nila tinitignan yung culture and politics, kung paano nila dinedefine on their own analysis. So as I start, according to A.B. Taylor, unahin natin i-define yung culture, ano? It is a complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, morals, law, custom, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. So, what Tyler presents here is an all-encompassing system, including both tangible and intangible elements. So, what does he mean when he say complex whole? So what he is trying to emphasize is that culture is not a single aspect, but a complex interplay of various elements. So it highlights that culture is learned and acquired through social interaction, distinguishing it from biological or innate traits. So ano yung implication naman itong ganitong klaseng definition? So what we can see here is that it is that culture is a broad and integrative concept that encompasses every facet of human experience. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Yung kabuuan, dahil nga complex tool, nagsasangay-sangay ito para siyang isang web kung saan it encompasses yung ating everyday experiences, everyday reflection, and everyday na life experiences or life history. So it includes social organization and the nature as well. At ito yung mas pinaka ginagamit na definition ng culture. This is the most well-known definition of culture because it integrates yung isang tinatawag nating complex whole kung saan andun yung knowledge, belief, art, moral, law, and custom of human experience. Kaso kung titignan natin dito, no, it is it is more of a centered on anthropomorphic or anthropocentric. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin natin ng when we say anthropocentric? Anthropocentric basically means it is centered to man. O baka sabihin medyo hindi ako gender neutral, ano? Acquired by human. Okay? Kasi baka sabihin man, paano naman yung women? Hindi ba sila part of complex whole of the society? So to be more gender neutral, acquired by human. So ang magiging issue naman dito, it is more of anthropocentric kasi we are focusing on the human experience. Pero yun na nga yung point eh. How could we say that the difference of culture sa animals and culture sa man? At titignan natin yun in the succeeding slides. Another definition is this, according to Clifford Geertz. It is the fabric of meaning in terms of which human beings interpret their experience and guide their action. So ano yung ibig sabihin ni Clifford Geertz when we say fabric of meaning? So he focuses on culture as a framework through which people understand their world. So parang ito yung fabric of meaning, it is the interpretation of human or people in order for us to understand kung ano yung pagtingin natin sa mundo. And the question now is, ano naman yung interpretation and action? Or yung interpretation? In the cultural lens, the interpretation is the experiences and the guiding behavior na nag-i-stress doon sa role, na nag-shape doon sa tinatawag nating human actions. And lastly, when we say symbolic the symbolic interaction. Ano yung ini-emphasize nito? Ini-emphasize nito yung meanings na nako-construct natin doon sa culture. Because Clifford Geertz believed that culture is a vital tool for making sense of experiences and directing actions. Framing how individuals and groups navigate their social worlds. Kung naalala niyo yung explanation natin tungkol dun sa structure, agent and structure, kung saan yung agent, this is the human. This is the the agency or the agent, this is the human person. And the structures, ito yung nakapalibot sa kanyang institutions of the society. Kaya yung question nga, kung itong tao, halimbawa ko, I am the agent, at ano yung structure ko, yun yung mga institutions sa paligid ko. Ako ba yung nag-shape doon sa institution na ginagalawan ko? Or the institution shapes me? Kung paano ako mag-isip ngayon, kung paano ako magsalita ngayon, kung paano akong makipahalubilo sa tao, ako ba yung nag-shape na sa sarili ko or the institution shaped it? Or am I the one who shapes the institution? Yun yung question natin, if you still remember. Moreover, going forward, for Raymond Williams believes that culture is one of the 2 or 3 most complicated words in the English language. Ano yung sinasabi nito? What he wants to say is that there's a complexity na ina-acknowledge ni Raymond Williams that there is a multifaceted and contested nature of the concept of culture. But he highlights that culture has evolved to encompass various meanings and uses in different contexts. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Dahil na komplikado siya, sa iba't ibang context, pwedeng magamit yung pagde-define ng culture. Kasi nga, it is a complex terminology. The complexity, kung yung word na culture, nakikita natin na it reflects to the diverse application and meanings which underscore the need for a thoughtful and critical approach to understanding it. Moreover, we will in the analysis of Margaret Mead. For her, culture is the learned behavior of a society or a subgroup. So she emphasized that culture is not innate but acquired through social processes. And Mead points out that culture can be specific to particular groups or societies. And ano yung mahalaga natin makita dito? That culture is a the word learn phenomenon that shapes and it is shaped by the behaviors and practices of human interaction. It highlights its roles in socialization. So, moreover, we will be using Ruth Benedict. For Ruth Benedict, culture is a shared, learned behavior of people, system of standards for perceiving, believing, evaluating, and acting. So for Benedict, Benedict underscores that culture is both communal and also acquired. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Na natututunan yung kultura. And yung culture, nakikita niya na bilang framework of norms and values that guide perception and behavior. Ano naman ibig sabihin natin doon? Na ito yung norms. Ibig sabihin, kung meron norm yung isa, what is normal in this society may be not normal in this society. What is deviant in this society may not be deviant in this society. Ano yung mga example nun? Let's say, when I say, yung madaming asawa, in other culture, it is norm or normal. It is a part of their life. It is part of their quote unquote culture. But in some societies, in some areas of, for example, Philippine context, it is different. Kaya nga, kung titignan natin yung Pilipinas, ang pinakamagandang explanation kung titignan natin yung Pilipinas, ano? Tatlong word lang. Multi-ethnic. Ano ibig sabihin natin ng multi-ethnic? Iba-ibang mga grupo, iba-ibang mga ethno-linguistic group, ano? Multi-ethnic. Mga ethnic group, mga halimbawa, Tagalog, Bicolano, Kankanai, Badjao, yan, multi-ethnic. And dahil nga multi-ethnic, we are also multilingual. Ano naman yung multilingual? With the word itself, language. Iba-iba ng lengguwahe. Pero kung titignan natin yan, lahat yan is rooted on what we call Austronesian language. Kaya nga tatanungin ko kayo, saan ba nagmula ang mga sinaunang Pilipino? O sino ang mga unang Pilipino? Or let's rephrase that question. Sino ang mga unang tao sa archipelagong ito? Sino ang mga unang nanirahan sa archipelagong ito? So the first one, multi-ethnic. Second one, multilingual. And last one is multicultural. What we say when we say multicultural, iba-iba yung gawi, iba-iba yung kultura, at iba-iba yung belief and paniniwala. So in that sense, sinasabi dito na makikita natin doon sa definition, it is really complex. Nagigets nyo na yung idea, no? Na culture is something na mahirap nga talaga siyang bigyan ng main definition. Pero ito yung makikita natin na it is a learned behavior, hindi lang siya basta natututunan. Natutunan mo at ito yung pinapasa mo. You are sharing those learned behavior para makita kung ano ba yung standard sa paniniwala, standard sa buhay, at standard norm doon sa isang society or lipunan. Gets? Nagigets? Next is the, according to Edward Said. So Edward Said, sinasabi niya na culture is a system of values and meanings that shape the perceptions of individuals and groups in a society. So, ang pinopokus nito is on how culture provides a framework for values and meanings. Yung word na values and meanings. Because it highlights the role of culture in influencing individuals and groups perceive their world. So it implies that culture can be a tool for understanding power dynamics and social structures. So ano yung implication nito sinasabi ni Seth? Culture shapes the perception and is integral to understanding how values and meanings influence social interactions and as well as power relations. So, moving forward, kay Stuart Hall. For Stuart Hall, culture is about shared meanings. Culture is about making sense of the world in a shared way. So, ano ibig sabihin? Parang yung another definition, ano? Na ito ay natututunan, learned behavior, pero i-share din natin doon sa isang society. Okay? For Franz Boas, isa din tong sikat na anthropologist, ano? Culture embraces all the manifestations of social behavior of a community, the reactions of individual as affected by the habits of the group in which he lives. So ito ay nakafocus on the micro lens. Ano naman yung micro lens na yun, ano? Na yung kaya na sinasabi ko, na iba't ibang lipunan, iba't ibang kultura. Iba't ibang society, iba't ibang kultura. And dito nga sa Pilipinas, if we will be contextualizing here in the Philippines, with the three description na pwede natin gamitin, diba? Napakaganda. Magigets mo na agad. Philippines. Ano meron sa kanya? Multi-ethnic, multilingual, and multicultural. So, when you go in the northern part of the Philippines, anong meron doon? O kung gagamitin natin yung mga Igorot, or from the yung Igorot is a word, it means from the mountains. It is a collective, ano? Yung Kankanai, Ifugao, Ibaloy, lahat ng mga yan, they are called Igorot. For example, dito sa Nueva Ecija, halimbawa ako taga Muñoz, Muñozonian. Kapagka taga Talavera, Talaverañas. Kapagka mga taga San Jose, San Joseñans. O halimbawa, for example, taga Gimba, ano ba tawag sa mga Gimba? Gimbanians, Gimbasor, mga Gimbasors, okay? For example, yun yung mga tawag sa kanila. Pero at the end of the day, the collective term for all of us is Novo Ecianos. And ganun din in the context of Igorots. So, ano yung gusto ko lang ipaliwanag sa inyo dito? That in the northern part of the Philippines, there is a different kind of culture. In the central part of the Philippines, for example, Luzon lang to northern part of Luzon, different culture. Central part of Luzon, different culture. And southern part of Luzon, different culture. Kung gagamitin nyo naman sa large macroscopic ulit, mas malaki, iba-iba na naman ulit yung paniniwala, belief, and culture of the people. So moving forward, for Hofstede believes that culture is the collective programming of the mind that distinguishes the members of one group or category of people from others. So ano siya sabi niya dito? Sinasabi niya na he compares culture to software, parang computer, that programs the collective mindset of a group. So isang grupo, mindset of a group, where it focuses on how culture differentiates groups and influence behavior. So for him, culture functions as a form of collective mental programming that sets groups apart and influences their behaviors and interaction. And lastly, for Pierre Bourdieu, culture is a system of practices and symbols that produces and reproduce social structures. Ano naman ito mga to? Sinasabi ni Bourdieu na culture is comprises of practices and symbols that help maintain social structures. So ano yung point nun? Kung walang kultura na meron dito, sira yung structure ng isang lipunan. So sinasabi nga na isa sa mga mahalagang sangay para mabuo yung struktura ng lipunan ay yung kanilang kultura. Because he believes that culture is integral to the creation and maintenance of social structures. So ano yung ibig sabihin? It reflects and reinforces power relations in societal hierarchies. Kaya hinuli ko itong part na to, because after this, ito na yung mga kinuha kong examples of defining culture. After this, we will be now explaining the meaning of politics. Kaya hinuli ko to kasi gusto ko ipakita sa inyo that there is a power dynamics in political science or politics. Ano ba yung pinag-aaralan natin? Ano ba talaga yung pinaka-gusto nating makita? Ano ba talaga yung kung merong isang bilog, ano yung pinaka-pag-uusapan doon sa politics? Or kung sabihin na lang natin, modern political science or modern politics. So kung yung modern or contemporary, ang pag-usapan natin dyan is how to acquire and maintain power. So ang sinasabi dito, for Bourdieu, parang tinitignan niya na yung maintenance ng social structure is a reflection of power relations and societal hierarchies. So parang ano ibig sabihin natin yung societal hierarchies? Triangle lang yun. Yun lang yung triangle at ito yung nasa taas hanggang pababa. Kung hindi mo naiintindihan sa triangle, A, B, C, D, E. Class A, may mga nasa upper limit hanggang class E, nasa lower limit. So now, what we will be trying to discuss now is the idea of politics, where we understand or analyze kung ano yung meaning ng how to acquire and maintain power. Kaya nga sabi ni Robert Dahl, ano yung sinasabi ni Robert Dahl? When we say power, ano yung definition nun? A has power over B if B would do something, A has power over B if B would do something that B wouldn't otherwise do. So ano ibig sabihin nun? Mas i-explain na lang natin ito doon sa ating face-to-face discussion. So let's now define politics. So for Aristotle, politics is the science of the good for man. Diba? Napaka-simple, ano? Ano yung sinasabi ni Aristotle dito? Ano yung pinipinpoint niya? Sinasabi niya na yung pagtingin niya sa politika is a practical science focused on achieving the common good. The common good. Ano ba yung common good for Aristotle? Kaya sinasabi niya dapat ang tao ma-reach niya yung kanyang telos. And pag na-reach niya yung kanyang telos at ang tao ay merong doctrine of the mean, makukuha mo yung eudaimonia. So medyo komplikado yun, ano? Pero itong si Aristotle kasi pinag-aaralan namin to dati. Isang buong SEM. Almost isang buong SEM itong si Aristotle. Ay hindi naman pala. Dalawang buong quarter. Pinag-aaralan namin yung The Republic na book ni Aristotle. So, si Aristotle, he emphasized that politics should aim to cultivate virtues and enable human flourishing. So, ano yung implication nito sinasabi ni Aristotle on his definition of politics? Politics is inherently linked to ethical considerations in the pursuit of the common good, aiming to enhance human well-being. So, basically, politics is achieving the common good in order for us to enhance yung ating human well-being. However, ang pinaka-main issue natin ngayon dito, when we say politics, ano yung ibig sabihin? Politika, marumi ang politika. Marumi kapag pinag-uusapan natin ng politics. But hindi ito yung tinitignan nila thousands of years ago. What they see about politics is, this is the science for you to achieve the good well-being for a society, the good well-being for the man. Because when we achieve yung sasabi nating the common good, we are also aiming in order to enhance our human self, our human interaction, and human well-being overall. And the irony, yung makikita natin yung irony, when we talk about politics, politika, ayoko yan. Bakit? Marumi. So, masyado na napapahaba yung sinasabi ko dito kay Aristotle, ano? Moving forward, ito naman yung tinatawag nating Laswellian definition of politics. Ito yung isa sa mga favorite definition ko, no? Kasi nga, napakasimple lang. Politics is who gets what, when, and how. So, ano yung pinofocus niya? Pinofocus ni Laswell. Yung pinofocus niya dito, basically yung allocation of resources, benefits, and power within society. So, he highlights the procedural aspects of political decision-making. Kasi nga kung titignan mo dito, no, politics is primarily concerned with the distribution and allocation of resources. Pero pagka sinama lang natin yung allocation of resources, economics yun. But when we add resources and power, di ba? Resources and power, allocation of resources and power, it is politics. So it reflects the practical aspects of governance and decision making. Pero ito yung pinakagusto dito, no? Masisimplihan ko lang. Politics who? Sino? Yung tao. At kung paano niya makukuha yung isang bagay, kailan, at kung sa paanong paraan. At makikita mo doon kung sino yung mas powerful na tao, kung paano niya makuha yung isang bagay, kung gaano kabilis, at kung paanong proseso. For example, ako. May power ba ako sa inyo? Baka sabihin niyo wala, pero sasabihin ko siguro meron. I have power over you. For example, I want you to submit yung paper Give me a topic of paper. Kung mas matagal mo ibinigay sa akin yon, ibig sabihin, mas mabagal yung mas mahina yung aking power over you. At halimbawa, sobrang nagalit-galit pa ako, bago mo ibigay sa akin yun, mas humihina na naman ulit yung power ko over you. But, pag sinabi ko, okay guys, meron kayong deadline, tomorrow morning, magbigay kayo sa akin ng topic ng inyong paper. Okay? Thank you. So, halimbawa, ganyan yung sinabi ko. At binigay nyo agad lahat yun sa akin, agad-agad. Hindi na umabot yun ng kinabukasan. Makikita mo doon how powerful the person is. Nag-gets nyo ba? Nag-gets yung idea? Kaya ito yung isa sa mga favorite definition ko eh. Politics is who gets what, when, and how. Ito naman, moving forward, kay David Easton, politics is the authoritative allocation of values for a society. Ano naman siya sabi ni David Easton? Ito, meron lang magiging short discussion mamaya kay Easton. So, for him, politics involves making binding decisions on societal values and norms. So, he sees politics as a system that manages the distribution of values and again, distribution of resources. So, ano yung implication naman natin na to, no? Implication ito. It plays a crucial role in defining and managing societal values and priorities, influencing how resources and decisions are allocated. So, basically, babalik ulit tayo, parang yung ina-explain ko lang kanina, that this is something of allocation of resources and power to a specific society. Okay? Moving forward, for Max Weber, ewan ko kung si Max Weber, no? Weber ba to o Weber? Sa kung kasi, di ba yung Volkswagen in German? Hindi naman German to si Max Weber. So in German, Volkswagen nababaliktad, Volkswagen. So pag halimbawa, German to si Max Weber, Weber siya. Hindi naman yata siya, hindi naman, alam ko hindi naman to German eh. So for him, politics is a vocation which consists of striving to share power or to influence the distribution of power. Again, parang paulit-ulit na sinasabi ko pero gusto ko lang ibigyan ng emphasis na for Max Weber, para itong isang vocation of power where politics is viewed as a career centered on power dynamics. So kung paano natin makuha yung kapangyarihan, yung power. So, ano naman yung sinasabi niya? It focuses on the pursuit of power and the influence of political actors in shaping social structures. So basically, anong gusto ko na maipaintindi sa inyo dito is yung sinasabi ni Max Weber is that the pursuit and distribution of power is in order for us to get the influence and share power in various ways. However, nagiging problema, ito yung parang gusto kong mga idea. Distribution of power. That is the idea of Max Weber on how to influence the distribution of power. But we have this, in the Philippine context, we have this idea of nakakalason, nakakabaliw, at nakakalunod sa kapangyarihan. Nalunod sa kapangyarihan. So ano ibig sabihin natin nun? Ano ini-imply natin? Na yung power, it was not distributed. Or na-distribute man, pero konti lang. Because at the end of the day, the power, kung sino nasa taas, yun yung pinakamalakas. Kaya nga yung question ko ito question ko sa inyo. Ano yung 3 branches of government? Sige. 3 branches of government. May 4. 3 branches. Actually, may sinasabi kasi pang-4. Pero invisible yun. Invisible yung 4. So, legislative, executive, and judiciary. Yung pang-4 na invisible na sinasabi, that is the media. The power of the media. But now, huwag natin pag-usapan yun. In these 3 branches of government, sino pinakamataas? Sige nga, tanong ko nga sa inyo. Sige. Sino pinakamataas? Sasagutin natin to next meeting. Madami ako estudyante, madaming nagkakamali dito sa question ko na to. Even mga naglo-law or even mga lawyer na, Diyos ko po. Ako hindi naman ako abogado. Hindi naman ako, mas magaling naman sigurado sa akin abogado. Pero pag tinatanong ko sa question na to, nagugulat ako. Even then, they don't know. They don't know the answer on that question. So, subukan ko lang kayo para makita ko talaga. Because next sem or next year, you will become a political scientist in the making. Ako kasi, in the making lang daw talaga eh. Kumbaga sa tinapay, hindi ako na-bake. Andun lang ako hanggang sa may kwan lang. Hanggang namasa lang. Minasa lang ako tinapay. Okay. Going forward, Bernard Crick. For Bernard Crick, medyo mahaba yung sasabi niya, no? I-explain ko na lang to. Ang sinasabi lang naman dito ni Bernard Crick is this. Yung politics, it is about negotiating and reconciling various interests na ma-ensure na yung bawat grupo ay merong capacity for the decision making para dun sa ikauunlad ng isang buong komunidad. Ano yung ibig sabihin? Na meron akong gusto. Parang ganyan yung idea sabi ni Crick. Merong interest yung isang tao. Ako, halimbawa, may gusto ako. May gusto ko kunwari ng gym. Gusto ko ng gym para sa isang lipunan. Kaso, may 3 gym na napatayo. Gusto ko na naman ng gym. Puro gym. Yun, ano ba, yung parang project ng mga SK natin. Most of our SKs, ano ba yung project? Paliga, ano pa ba? Contest, ayan. Tsaka yung labanan ng mga muse. Kaso, yun lang ba kasi yung gusto ng mga taong bayan? Yun lang ba kasi yung gusto ng mga tao? If yun yung collective interest of individuals, then pwedeng yun yung i-reconcile natin. Bawa, yung isa gusto ng beauty contest. Yung isa gusto ng basketball, sports. Yung isa naman gusto niya ng merong ma-showcase niya yung talent niya. Yung isa naman gusto niya ng may libreng pagkain. So, paano mangyari yon? Ang maiisip ko, magtayo ng gym. Gym na naman. Okay, bakit gym yung gusto ko itayo? Dahil, pagka nagpagawa ako ng gym, doon magkakaroon ng katotohanan or kagustuhan. Magkakaroon yun ng, mabibigay ko yung gusto nilang lahat. Kasi doon gaganapin lahat ng mga events. So, yung kahit merong iba't ibang interest, nagkakaroon tayo ng reconciliation doon sa isang yon. And in that sense, dahil nakuha natin yon, yung mga tao, they have the share doon sa decision making sa isang lipunan. Basically, ganito lang sasabi natin, ano? Paano ba nagkakaroon ng isang desisyon ang isang barangay? So, kailangan consensus. Ano yung consensus? Napag-usapan ng lahat at kagustuhan ng nakararami. Kung gagamitin natin, utilitarian concept for the greatest happiness of the greatest number. So, in that sense, kung kagustuhan ng nakararami yung isang bagay at yun yung makikita, pwedeng yun yung sundin noong namumuno. However, dahil nga ando tayo sa tinatawag nating power, nagiging problema, most of the time, the monopoly of power is kung sino nasa taas. And that is the problem. Kung halimbawa, kahit naging consensus, wag ng gym. Yun yung consensus ng mga tao. Wag na pong gym. Sobra-sobra na yung gym. Puro gym na lang nandito. Sawang-sawa na kami sa gym. Gusto naman namin ng iba. Gusto naman namin ng tungkol sa capacity building or capacity development. Gusto namin matuto about sa agriculture, about sa technology, about sa machineries. Gusto namin yun matutunan. Ako yung namumuno. Hindi yun. Makikita ba yun yung natutunan ninyo? Hindi naman makikita yun eh. Ang kailangan natin yung nakikita ng tao. Kaya papatayo ako ng gym. And that is what we call edifice complex. Na ano yung edifice complex? Na kapagka nagpatayo ka, may ginagawa ka. Pero kapag halimbawa yung mga yon, nagturo ka, capacity building ka, nagpagawa ka ng mga tawag dito, yung medical mission, hindi nakikita yun kasi minsan lang yun. Hindi yan pang matagalan. Pero kung nagpatayo ka ng gym at nandun yung pangalan mo, araw-araw yun makikita. Araw-araw mare-recall yun sa tao. Pwede ka ulit manalo sa susunod na eleksyon. Iboboto ka ulit. Andiyan yung pangalan mo. May ginagawa ka. Pero at yung question, may ginagawa ka ba talaga o yun doon mo lang binungus lahat? Yung pondo na pwede pa sanang i-maximize. Are you getting the idea? Are you getting the point? So, yun basically yung sinasabi ni Crick, ano? And sinasabi din ng lahat. Mas nag-ina-emphasize na doon kay Crick. So, for Andrew Haywood, ito isa sa mga favorite ko din to, ano? It is the activity through which people make, preserve, and amend the general rules under which they live. So, kung titignan natin, politics involves the creation, preservation, and modification of societal rules and norms. Ito na yung tungkol sa mga pag-aayos at paggagawa ng mga batas. Because it highlights the ongoing nature of political activity in shaping societal regulations. So ano yung ibig sabihin natin dito, no? That politics is a continuous process of establishing and adjusting the rules that govern society, reflecting its evolving nature. So, yung proseso ng pagbabago-bago ng mga rules na nag-govern sa lipunan ay yun ang pinag-uusapan sa politics. It is an activity doon sa pag-amend, preserve, and make the general rules of a specific society. So, ito na yung medyo politics and law. Politics and law coincides. Kung ba may Venn diagram, politics itong kabilang bilog, that is the law. Okay. Next, si Carl Schmitt. For Carl Schmitt, the specific political distinction to which political actions and motives can be reduced is that between friend and enemy. Ano yung sinasabi nung dito, no? Ano yung friend and enemy? So, Schmitt said that politics fundamentally involves distinguishing between allies and adversaries. Tignan mo kung sino yung kalaban at tignan mo sino yung kakampi. Kaya nga ang nagiging problema dito, there is the conflict and identity. Bakit? Ano yung conflict and identity? Kasi tinitignan niya dito na yung political identities ay nabubuo through opposition and conflict. So, ang ina-highlight niya dito, kung titignan natin, it highlights the antagonism in shaping political action and motivation. So, ano yung ini-imply ni Schmitt? Schmitt basically implies the idea of politics is characterized by the fundamental distinction between friends and enemies, or what we call allies and adversaries, influencing how political actions and motives are understood. Kaso ito yung magiging problema na naman natin dito, ano? Kung titignan natin dito sa ating the Philippine context, kung titignan mo kung sino yung pangulo, or kung ano yung tawag dito, political group, political party, yan, political party ng presidente, doon naglilipatan halos lahat ng mga political personnel. For example, dati Liberal Party, panahon ni Noynoy. Kung titignan mo yun sa statistics, most of the political personnel or the Congress ay Liberal Party. Ngayon, si PDP laban. Noong nakaraan, si PDP laban, si Duterte, Partido Demokratiko Pilipino, at Lakas ng Bayan, PDP laban. Karamihan na naman nandun sa Congress and political entity ay PDP laban. So, the problem now is, sino ba talaga yung pagka-political party, ibig bang sabihin nun, it embodies yung paniniwala mo? Or hindi mo alam kung ano yung pinapasukan mo. So basically, ang gusto ko i-pinpoint doon, kung sino yung namumuno, kailangan yun maging friend mo. Kung sinong nasa taas, yun yung magiging friend mo. Pero ang problema, paano kung ang prinsipyo mo hindi tulad ng taong yun? Paano yung paniniwala mo ay hindi tulad ng taong yun? Kakaibiganin mo ba siya o magiging kalabang ka? Will you be a friend or will you be an enemy? Kaya nga yung famous quotation, na basta ang idea no, yung my duty to my country begins, yung something like that. My duty to my country begins. Explain ko na lang na yung loyalty niya doon sa kanyang political party ay matatapos na kapag nanalo siya. Dahil yung loyalty niya na ngayon is dun sa kanyang bansa. Hindi ko alam kung kay Quezon itong quotation na to, no? Correct me if I'm wrong. Pero yun yung isa sa mga famous quotation ni Quezon, if I'm not mistaken. But now, yung pinpoint, kung halimbawa, ikaw, isa kang individual, pagkaiba kayo ng paniniwala nung nanluklok, will you become a friend or will you become an enemy? Will you become a neutral? No! There's no such thing as neutral. Pero we can commend the good, but we can also criticize the bad. Kasi mahirap naman lagi kang criticize, kakaganda-ganda na ng sinasabi. Ang ganda-ganda na ng ginagawa. So, ito yung ano tayo sa commend the good, criticize the bad. And that's for me. That's my political definition on my mind. Moving forward, for Hannah Arendt, politics is based on the fact of human plurality. Ito medyo simple lang, pero ano ibig sabihin nito? Sinasabi nito na yung politics is seen as space where multiple voices and viewpoints interact and contend. Kaya nga kasi human plurality. When we say plurality, there are various voices. This is multiple viewpoints. This is plurality, with the word plurality. Madami. So madaming viewpoints, madaming voices, madaming ideas, and it interact with each other. So it highlights the importance of diversity and debate in political life. So ang nagiging problema naman dito, paano kung lahat kayo pare-parehas kayo? For example, lahat kayo ay puro tango na lang. Ano yung gagawin natin? Okay ito. Puro tango ka na ganyan. There's no such thing as plurality doon. Kailangan nandun yung diversity kung paano yung tinitignan yung isang bagay. On how you see, on how you perceive yung isang batas, or for example, isang not batas, sorry, isang activity or project. Okay. So, basically, ano yung ini-imply dito ni Hannah Arendt? She implies that politics is inherently linked to human diversity, reflecting the need for dialogue and interaction among different individuals. Diba? Ang ganda. Human plurality. Next is for John Locke. For John Locke, political power is the right of making laws and penalties of death, and consequently all less penalties for the regulating and preserving of property, and of employing the force of the community in the execution of such laws and in the defense of the commonwealth from foreign injury. Ang haba, no? Pero ibig sabihin ito, Locke emphasized the idea of law and order where he defines the political power in terms of lawmaking and enforcement, including the use of penalties. Ito na naman, may Venn diagram, politics, at ito na naman sa Venn diagram, the law. Di ba? Where also Locke emphasize the protection of property, ba? In defense as a key functions of political power. So basically, politics is fundamentally about creating and enforcing laws, diba? Gumawa at i-enforce, i-execute yung mga laws na yon in order to regulate society and protect the property within the community's authorities underpinning these functions. Diba? Gets nyo naman siguro yun. Kaya nga, di ba? Ano yung 3 natural rights? Life, liberty, and protect property. Lastly, for Jean-Jacques Rousseau, politics is the science of government, and government is the exercise of legitimate authority over a political community. Ano yung gustong-gusto kong emphasize dito, mga kapatid? So, for Rousseau, he views politics as the study of government and its functions. Yun na yun. Kaya hinuli ko na naman to. Kasi medyo alam ko naman, most of you maglulo kayo. Kaya ito yung nilagay ko sa dulo na medyo related sa law. Kung saan, pinag-aaralan natin yung government at kung paano nag-function yung government. However, yan naman, alam natin kung ano yung ginagawa ng isang government agency. Alam natin kung ano yung mandato ng isang government agency. But the problem, alam din natin yung function. We know the mandate, we know the function of a given agency. But the problem now is this. What if hindi ginagawa ng agency or government agency yung kanyang mandate and function? Hindi, tignan mo in the past few weeks, nagulat ako. Ang daming budget noong DepEd. Hi, BP Sara. Isang kaibigan pa nga. Shish, GG tayo sa'yo. Nagulat ako na ang daming classroom na kailangan gawin. Ang daming, di ba yun naman yung priority na i-prioritize mo yung mga classrooms para hindi nagsisiksikan yung mga estudyante. Pag hindi nagsisiksikan yung mga estudyante, mas magkakaroon ng efficiency doon sa kanilang learning environment. If there's an efficiency in learning environment, mas magiging efficient din yung pagtuturo ni teacher. Kapag naging efficient yung pagtuturo ni teacher, may ma-maximize niya yung kailangan maituro sa mga estudyante. At kapag mas natututo yung estudyante, ano yung pinaka bottom line nun? Ano yung pinaka end goal? A better student, a better individual, and a better society. Bakit better society? Kasi nga, mas may utak siya, mas may alam siya, at alam niya yung pwede niyang gawin doon sa lipunan niya. But the problem, Diyos ko, wala pang 10%. Yun na pagawa, my God. Shoutout na lang sa'yo, BP Sara, isang kaibigan. GG sa'yo. Okay. So, pero ano yung gusto kong i-emphasize sa inyo dito, no? I just want to emphasize yung idea ng legitimate authority. But ano ba yung legitimate authority? Basically, the legitimacy of governmental authority over a community. Paano nagiging legitimate yung authority ng isang individual? Through voting. Sa context natin dito sa Pilipinas. Nagiging legitimate ang isang pinuno kahit ayaw mo yan. Kahit galit na galit ka dyan. Kahit na gusto mong mura-murahin yan. But he gets the legitimate authority because the people chose him or her. That is the fundamental knowledge na kailangan nating tignan. So, it emphasizes that the role of government in managing and guiding the political community. Basically, ito lang naman yung gusto kong sabihin dito, sa sinasabi ni Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Ito, interpretation ko na to, na the politics is concerned with the governance of societies and as well as the legitimate exercise of authority reflecting the importance of legitimacy and the effective governance. So, if we have an effective government, if we have an effective society, if we have an effective leadership, then we will have a better kind of society na meron tayo. So, with these definitions, ang dami nating na-define, ano? Isa lang naman yung pinupunto nito. At the end of the day, what we are focusing is the idea of having power and use that power to create a common good. And if we create a common good, we create a better human well-being and a better kind of society, community for all of us. Naintindihan? Kaya nga yung last question ko dito ay ito. Ito yung kukunin ko, ang ating tawag dito, conclusion, that culture influences political ideologies, while political decisions can reshape cultural norms and values. There is an interplay between the culture and politics and culture, which reflects the evolving nature of societal structures and behaviors. At ang iiwanan kong question sa inyo, nasagutin natin sa susunod na discussion is, does culture shapes politics or does politics shapes culture? Ang kultura ba ang humuhubog sa ating politika o ang politika ang siyang humuhubog sa kultura? At kung paano ang kultura at politika ay hinuhubog yung environmental context dito sa ating bansa. So, with the, yun yung question, no? Yun yung magiging question natin. So, we will be discussing it next meeting. With that, guys, maraming salamat at see you on the next discussion. Thank you and have a good day. Quiz. Susunod na tayo mag-quiz. Thank you.